Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian from Mr. Status 74. You were looking at an LG B8 at the bottom and a Panasonic S60 at the top. This is in a pretty bright room in my living room. They're both, well, one's 55 and the top one's actually 65. The LG is closer, which is why it looks larger. The reason why I want to do this video quickly is to show you a few things. Bright room performance on the plasma versus the LG. And LG, or I should say OLED in general, gets criticized for being very dim and not appropriate for a bright room. And we're going to do this together and see how appropriate it is. Now, admittedly enough, the S60, the plasma you see at the top, was knocked pretty hard for bright room performance. It's basically a mirror, which is okay. I'm aware of it. Other plasmas do perform better, especially that year with the VT, the ZT, and the ST60. But this is just kind of the test we're talking about for bright room performance, as well as a little bit of upconversion. Now, I can't show you moving films due to copyright, and this video will be taken down, but I want to show you a couple stills on both to see how it performs and how it looks in upscaling. Right now, as far as how it looks with bright room performance, we'll start it, we'll pause it, and we'll take a look at it. Now you can see as the film loads, you can actually see my reflection in the bottom. You would see my reflection fully in the top. So the reflection of the screen, as far as being something that would be a concern, yes, you can see me waving behind the camera right now. That is visible simply because that part of the screen is clear. If you see me lean more towards BB-8, you actually can't see me. So there's no way with OLED, with the LGs or the Sonys, for me to really say that they are not bright enough for bright room performance. But let's run some stills. Now, talking about upconversion more than bright room performance, it is amazing to me how well even this B8, not even with the new chips of the C9 or the chips of the Sony or Panasonic, how well it upscales. In terms of the way it makes 1080p look. 1080p Blu-rays look phenomenal. In the past, OLEDs did struggle to upconvert. Typically lower upconversion, be it 720p or DVD quality, but mostly from your cable box, which we'll show in a minute. But these stills, the cleanliness of a film like Force Awakens, which is actually pretty noisy, looks phenomenal, even in a room this bright, even though you can still see the reflections on it. But this is primarily due to more upconversion than bright room performance. Now, as far as OLEDs being too dim, the Panasonic obviously is much dimmer and has worse reflections. But watching this in a pretty bright room, as you can see, there's a window right there. There's also windows behind, which the shades are down, but that's still pretty bright. I don't think any TV would be able to hang with those open. We will open them. It's completely watchable in a bright room. Is it optimal for bright room performance? Is it something I would recommend and say, hey, you have to buy this for bright room performance? No, I wouldn't say you have to, but I would say it would perform very well for bright room. My buddy Jeremy's AF8, which does well in a bright room with windows. It's not one of those things that can't happen. So what we really hear a lot of times is that OLEDs are perfect for dark room performance. And I think that's where people tend to leave it. Hey, if it's going to be in a dark room, OLED is the way to go, but it's the only way to watch. And I've had this display in my master bedroom, which has a lot of windows, in this living room, as well as in a dark room. Yes, it is at its best in a dark room. I argue just about any OLED, as well as high-end LED with excellent local dimming, is better in a dark room. But it's completely watchable in this environment and looks fantastic. The upconversion of 1080p looks better to me than the OLED, or I'm sorry, better than the plasma. The plasma is native 1080p, obviously. Now, does it look, plasma is a warmer image, it's a different image, but there's no way that I would look at the OLED and say, the upconversion is bothering me. I don't like the way it looks. It's struggling with it. It also, it just does the job well. Now really put it to the test. This is the standard definition, regular DVD of Jaws. We'll show some stills with that. This is just the menu. Yes, you can see the lights behind me, but we'll see how it looks with the stills. This is a very grainy film, even on Blu-ray. Obviously, it came out in '75, I believe. So it is an old film, but we'll see how it looks on some stills. This is not the Blu-ray, this is the regular standard definition DVD. So other than my camera, the upconversion of standard definition DVD, regular DVD, is excellent. It looks very good. I would say that even on my 900E, this doesn't look great. My display is also 20 inches larger as well. But as far as upconversion of regular TV of older films, this is also a standard definition 1975 version of Jaws. As far as when the film was, this is a soft film anyway, and I would have absolutely no problem recommending the OLEDs for upconversion if there's any problems with that at all. It looks very good. Considering that the plasma is native 1080p panel and has excellent upconversion on its own, the OLED does not look worse. Now, people would get confused by that and say, why would the OLED look worse? It's a better display. Well, anything upconverting that far shouldn't really be able to hang in there with something like standard definition DVD. And it does. It looks exactly the same. It looks a little bit cleaner. The dark parts look a little bit noisier, for just the simple fact that the OLED is cleaner and brighter than the plasma. This isn't really a direct comparison between the two, but just showing you that upconversion, typically a 1080p display will do better at doing its native resolution versus a 4K display. OLED does fantastic at it, no problems with upconversion. Now, as far as how it handles cable TV and sports, I can't really show you sports, I can just show you a local channel. Never mind the plasma with that shading coming down. There isn't any judder in the bottom information bar in regards to ESPN. This is a local news channel, so hopefully I won't get hit for this with copyright. This is a commercial I'll put. All right, guys, this is a local channel. You can see the ticker on the bottom of the OLED. The motion is fine. The upconversion looks very good. This is just standard picture mode. This isn't cinema. This isn't anything, me messing with the settings. This is pretty much how it looks. And I'm very impressed with it. I think that as far as watching regular TV, which is a concern with the Vizios and some of the other LEDs, OLED has always been a concern with regular TV watching. Now in sports, you may see the ABL, you may see that kick in with football or hockey. I've played football and hockey on YouTube on here. I didn't see it kick in, but that could be a concern. Burn-in is definitely a concern. I wouldn't recommend it if all you're doing is watching news. But as far as the upconversion aspect of it and the bright room performance of it, it's pretty impressive. Now with the windows fully open behind me, as you can see there, that's pretty impressive as far as what you can see. You can see on the plasma, yeah, you can see, actually literally see me. But on full screen on the OLED, it's completely watchable. So a little bit of a misnomer as far as they are not functional. That would be for the new Sonys. That would be for any of the OLEDs that you see, the Panasonics. I would say any of them, but the oldest OLEDs are not good for bright room performance. Now, would I recommend one if all you're doing is watching news and sports in a bright room? They would not be my first pick, but they're versatile enough to be able to do it all, guys. So between the upconversion of old content, standard definition DVDs, standard or regular Blu-rays, as well as 4K, I am very happy with the upconversion of it. Sports, regular TV watching. The one thing I will say is if you have something that is a noisy image. So what I was going to say before is even having something that is poor quality, say like The Godfather Blu-rays or Taxi Driver on Netflix, that quality will not look great on an OLED. Something about the black level also kind of shows that grain structure a little bit stronger. But what is interesting is films like this that have a fake grain structure, like Superman, from Zack Snyder, we have that false grain. It is very clean. This is Superman or the Man of Steel on Blu-ray, and it looks phenomenal. And this is, again, in a pretty bright room, and it looks very good. So the upconversion, to me, guys, not a concern at all. So even films like Jurassic Park on Blu-ray, which are notoriously very soft, actually come across fine. They look great, upconverted, no real issues with it all. So upconversion, bright room performance, I think the OLED, the B8, which is not as bright as the new ones, does very well. All right, guys, thank you as always. Take care.